It's me, Timmy Flyersguy, and welcome to Classic Flyers Theater with me, Timmy Flyersguy. Today's episode, we go back to 2014. Game 6 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals between the Philadelphia Flyers and the New York Rangers. I hope you all enjoy this episode because this is one of my all-time favorite games. I really enjoyed watching this game on TV. I'm not going to tell you what happened. If you're new to what happens, then I suggest you watch it. But if you already know, I suggest that you watch it also because this is a great video. And I hope that everyone enjoys this video. I'm Timmy Flyersguy. Let's go Flyers. And let's get ready for some classic Flyers action.
That is a lot of orange, isn't it? Down to the ice for a little bit more. Pierre Maguire has the Flyers. Scott Hartnell.
Thanks very much, Doc. The start's so important in a potential knockout game. What should we see from your team if you're having a good start?
Well, we need to feed off this crowd. It's pretty electric right now, and we got to be fast, we got to be hard, we got to reload hard, and get pucks to the net.
Scotty, goals have been so hard to come by in this series, especially for your line. What do you have planned for Henrik Lundqvist in this Game 6?
Well, he's obviously a good goalie, but they're playing great defense in front of him. We got to get pucks to the net from every angle and head to the net, not get moved tonight.
You guys made such a difference in Game 4 with your physical forecheck. Is that something we should plan on seeing?
We got to hit Girardi and McDonough every time they got the puck there. They play 30 minutes, and we got to get all over them.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, guys.
So many wonderful people have paid tribute to country singing in Philadelphia over the years. Renee Veneziale, Andrea McArdle. None more famous than a woman from the 70s and a woman of the modern era. Kate Smith and Lauren Hart. God bless America. It's impressive.
We're with us tonight presenting our nation's colors. And remain standing and welcome our #1 ranked anthemist in the NHL, our very own Lauren Hart, as she sings God Bless America.
Stand beside her.
by recording Kate Smith. Live and enthusiastic Lauren Hart. The goaltenders, Henrik Lundqvist, Rangers mainstay for 9 years, 72nd straight playoff start. He has won 3 out of 5 this spring. 25-year-old Steve Mason, injured late in the season, back for his 2nd straight playoff game. He won the first one, wanting to make this series go the distance. No changes for the Rangers from Game 5. Marty St. Louis will be a part of the unit that starts. Eric Gustafsson in, Hal Gill out on defense for the Flyers. Sean Couturier, part of the unit that starts for the team that must win. Rick Nash has been impressive in firing shots, 23 of them. He has not yet scored. He has 4 assists. And we have begun Game 6. Kimmo Timonen played it on through. Dan Girardi chases it down. Lundqvist paddles it away. Girardi came along and put the hit into Matt Reed. Jammed along by Reed. Braden Coburn stops it. Coburn shoved there by Nash. Coburn fiddled it through. It went through Reed, pinching from way out. It's Timonen and the puck to Couturier. And a save made by Lundqvist on a shot that found its way through. And Nash with a pass. Step on a shot turned aside by Mason. Couturier lugs it ahead. Able to step from one. Marches on another. Played it through and got his own pass and tried to center. Mark Stahl said no there. Played right back ahead for the feed to Boyle. Flipped off the stick of Dorsett. Shoved down and thrown along by Mason, his former teammate in Columbus. Pumped along further and it kicked on back away from Dorsett and can be corralled there and reversed by McDonald. Popped on ahead and it won't go out, and then Boyle nicely checked off by Roppel. Played right ahead and Roppel steps in, dropped it back. Giroux, a shot over the glove hand of Lundqvist off the glass, and a cross-body hit there by Boyle on Voracek. Voracek persists, shut off by Stahl. Puck came through to Boyle, and Boyle lobs one that went out of play into the Rangers bench.
Well, pretty obvious what the Flyers want to do. They want to make sure that they get their defenseman in on the forecheck when the opportunity presents itself. There's Braden Coburn. He keeps the play alive. He's a defenseman. Good fill in there by Claude Giroux. Now look at, here comes Kimmo Timonen pinching in, keeping the play alive. So the Flyers aggressive here early, want to sustain and create some forechecking opportunities. And it's got to make Craig Berube, head coach of the Flyers, awfully happy with the start to this point in the game.
And they want to keep a lot of pucks along the board. They don't want to play a wide open game, so that will play into that, Eddie, with that pinching.
Yeah, and they want to use their size, Pierre, if they can.
This is Simmons, part of that size. Around it comes now for Brayden Schenn. Checked off there and rocked a bit by Brad Richards. Bounced off that, but the pass intercepted. Flung out by Carl Hagelin. Tries to work his way by, no luck because of Luke Schenn, who steps into him and gets help from his brother Brayden.
Good recovery there for Schenn because Hagelin had a step on him, and it's good positioning to lead him with that stick defensively.
That's the one thing that's really improved for Luke Schenn, his conditioning levels and his speed since he's come over here from Toronto.
Around this comes to Luke Schenn. Schenn was surrounded by Rangers. Found a flyer in all of that, though. It's nudged on now to Hartnell. And Hartnell lobs it on back. And this one is cleared back down and will go for no icing. Played then by Girardi and forced back on. It is McDonough connecting on, though that one trickled off of Derek Brassard and is grabbed by McDonald. Reversed off Brassard's stick and he threw one out in front. Pouliot got it back to it and a shot hit the post. Along it comes now. Another shot by Zuccarello. Got the glass and he threw his head back. An intercept. Played on by Brassard. Rags through traffic. Ronaldo played it to the boards. Rescued there by Klein and trickled behind. Mason set it up. They hurry it back along. Took a strange bounce. Zuccarello threw it in front. Got by Pouliot. Laid on back to Klein. Backhanded around and can be played by Streit. Took the hit. Got it for Adam Hall, but he couldn't come up with it. Now it's fed on back and finally they get out of the zone. Brought ahead by McDonald and blasted wide and off Lundqvist on the bounce. Now Klein flops it high, a kneeling block there, and it careened on back as the attempt by Coburn was followed up by Timonen and sent all the way back near Stahl. Challenged there by Couturier, and the puck came free at center. Timonen with the blast back in, and it rattled on around for Stahl. Dropped it behind and it's Anton Strawman to play it for the Rangers defense. Shots are one each. First period of play, 3.5 minutes played. Down the ice, this one goes, and two players skate over it, and Stepan throws it in front, tumbling down to the ice was Timonen. Meanwhile, it is battled for and eventually kicked out to center. Brought back on by Couturier, on to Akeson. Akeson trying to pull by Couturier. Shot was blocked by Lundqvist. Laid back along the boards and reversed on back. Flyers keep possession this time. To the back it comes to Gustafsson. Laid on back further for the take to the outside by Reed. Gustafsson once again shooting, blocked away confidently there by Lundqvist. Fed right back along and a hit by Strawman on Reed. So back across it comes and Dominic Moore floats it on out to Brian Boyle. Boyle moving back up now with Dorsett. True one on goal that was blocked by Mason and angled on back. Braden Shen run off. Dorsett, helmetless, played it on back to Girardi and then carried back in. Dominic Moore looking for a pass in front, spiked wide by J.T. Miller. Recovers and feeds to the back. It is McDonough holding, trying to shake Simmons, and that one is blocked down. Poked back on near Simmons, can't come up with it. It's poked back on to Miller. McDonough shot blocked off by Mason. In front diving play, and it's all Rangers right now. Once they get it into the Flyers' end, it seems to be hard for the Flyers to even move it to the hash mark, let alone get it out. Hagelin a shot, and that one blocked away. Hagelin again, it's split save is made by Mason. He deserves a rest, and so does everybody in orange.
Home game for the Rangers right now. They're dominating everything, Eddie. Doesn't matter what line's on the ice. They're using the middle part of the ice. They're dominating off the cycle. They're forcing turnovers. They're winning races. They're putting Steve Mason under all kinds of duress, Eddie. And for Ryan McDonough, this has got to be a fun game for him to play right now.
Well, a couple of rebounds given up by Steve Mason. Look at that effort by Dominic Moore to get that puck and keep the play alive. And for Alain Vigneault, his team has had some good quick changes. The Flyers haven't been able to get on the body because, to Pierre's point, they haven't been winning many foot races in their own zone.
To the back it comes, angled to the corner without a stick now, and booting it along was Strike. Stepping to this is Luke Shen. Has a pass for Voracek and gives it to him, and a penalty coming up to the Rangers as tumbling down was Giroux. He finds his way in before losing the puck, and it's angrily banged to the corner by Brassard.
Benoit Pouliot's going to get it for holding in the neutral zone. Steve Kazari makes the call. And you'll see in transition, Benoit Pouliot's going to come over, and he gets the handout on Claude Giroux right there.
Yeah, not a good penalty at all there by Pouliot. I think he got surprised that he was going to run into Claude Giroux. And once he got that left hand exposed like that, you're going to end up taking a penalty if a player falls down.
Holding is the call on Pouliot. Power play brought to you by Husqvarna, and on with it is Giroux. Giroux delaying now, looking to the front, got it to the back. Walked across there by Timonen, delays and hands it on over. Simmons is in front of Lundqvist as it's handed over for the blast by Giroux that injures Girardi, gets back to his feet and gamely hangs in. Led to the back again to Timonen, sent on across once more. Voracek gives it back to him. Timonen has Giroux, gets it back, shot, save made by the glove on the hand of Lundqvist.
Hartnell can't believe it. And what a shot block there from Dan Girardi. There's no padding where he took that shot off the initial chance from Claude Giroux. Timonen, there's Girardi. He turns and hits him right in the back of the shoulder, possibly in the side of the ribs.
Right, they wanted Giroux to shoot more. In game number 5, he had 6 shots on goal, and he loaded it up there. And man, oh man, that'll leave a mark on Dan Girardi.
And if I was Giroux, I would have went right back to that same shot and said, okay, yeah, gonna come right back to that instead of giving it to Timonen.
Agreed.
Timonen a shot that is spiked wide by Hartnell, played on by Simmons and handled by Giroux. Sends it on across Voracek, drifting with it now to the slot. Save made by Lundqvist. He took a peek behind, and they try to clear, can't do it yet. Dominic Moore roughed up a bit by Hartnell, able to get it as far as the line, and then it popped up out of play, and we get a stoppage of play here.
Voracek kicked it out of play, and he was on the wrong side of the blue line. Dominic Moore with the eagle eye. So far, Henrik Lundqvist has been a story, even though Mason's been under siege.
Great patience from Jake Voracek on that last opportunity. With Lundqvist battling Strawman in behind. The Flyers looking to get more people in front of the net when shots are being taken, and the key is that you got to be on your way before the shot is there. You can't decide to get to the front of the net when the shot is being taken. So the guys without the puck are more important than the shooter.
2 shots on goal for the Flyers on this power play. They try to work it in. Cannot. It's squibbed across now to Stepan, and he pushed it into the right-hand catching glove of Mason, who, with all of this moving around, will just wait. 45 left on the penalty to Puglia.
And good job there by Stepan recognizing, get in, force the Flyer goaltender to freeze that puck, take a face-off 200 feet away from your goaltender while you're short-handed.
Agreed. It's all teamwork, too. You watch what Rick Nash does. Everybody's talking about Rick Nash not scoring. He might not be scoring, but he's playing real good defense, and he's a guy that really puts it on a tee for Derek Stepan to make that smart play you were alluding to, Eddie.
Rick Nash in the very simple white helmet with the number 61 and NYR on the side. You'll notice that Steve Mason's mask is a little more involved. And he shrugged at that shot that was over the blocker side off the glass. Dealt back around behind, and Mason was there. It's allowed to go by Voracek to Giroux, and on now for Timonen to nudge it ahead with a little over half a minute to go on the penalty kill to the Rangers. An intercept there by Giroux, and he's back in onside. Giroux drifts, got it back again. Right inside the net. Oh, a great save made there, as it looked like a sure goal for Simmons. Now it's taken on by Giroux. Giroux got it over, and the shot by Hartnell, and Simmons slithered one. They score!
Well, the turnover by Dan Girardi, he does not clear the puck down 200 feet. And that's what allows the Flyers to get on the scoreboard first. The failed clear, getting and winning the races for loose puck. Giroux to Hartnell, Simmons stays with it. Scores on the second chance opportunity.
Eddie, you have a chance to watch Andrew Shaw all the time in Chicago. Wayne Simmons is Philadelphia's version of Andrew Shaw. He's just so good in that area.
Just a little bit bigger is all, but I know what you're saying, Pierre, as they try to muscle the net off the moorings. It came around now for Stride, hooked it across. It's McDonald there, finessed it on for Couturier, and they bring it right back in the person of Brassard, who drifts with it to the outside, and shot one blocked away by Mason. And with some direction back to center. John Moore up with it there, threw it on through as the Flyers were changing, and so it is Mason behind. 7 3/4 minutes gone in the first period of play. 7 shots to 6 Flyers, and they lead 1-0. Rifled back off by Stahl, brushed on by Miller, who just mashed there by Roppel, and it's flipped back onto Strawman, carried back up by Miller. J.T. Miller up the wing, delays and shuffled one behind. That is poked right back there by Brad Richards, grabbed off by Luke Schenn, given up to Carl Hagelin, then along to Richards. Richards able to drift with it now, pointed it on back, shoved across by Stahl, fired by Strawman, blocked by Roppel, and sent back out. Hartnell and Giroux the assists on the power play goal by Simmons at 7:08. Love back in by Richards, delays and shoots one, and that one towed away and out of play. Wayne Simmons has struck for another goal. It's his second.
Great teaching point here. Stay with the play. Keep your nose over the puck. Chance. Good opportunity there for Wayne Simmons. Stay in front of that. Hang around the net. Good things are going to happen. And then eventually, second chance opportunity. Giroux to Hartnell. This puck actually goes off the right skate of Ryan McDonough right back to Wayne Simmons, who made himself to the front of the net. Got himself in that position. And the Flyers with a 1-0 lead.
The second of the, a steal by Nash and a shot remarkably. Mason has it. It is just strange. Back in that end of the ice, trying to get out. There have been several turnovers. The Flyers have the lead on the scoreboard, but some concern.
And you're absolutely right, Doc. They're getting too cute with the puck. And as Eddie and I were talking about, foot race being won by Marty St. Louis, Rick Nash, and Steve Mason coming up large. But they're getting too cute with the puck. It's got to be straight north-south, not east-west coming out of their own zone.
Yeah, not a good play there from Sean Couturier. Backhand passes in your own zone to the blind spot. Usually ends up in the back of your net, and that was a good save. Penalty coming up here on Coburn for a cross-check to the back of Marty St. Louis. And the one thing I will say is after that play by Couturier, Steve Mason went out of his way to make sure he tapped Couturier on the backside and said, that's all right. Good move there by the goaltender to pat the guy on the back after making that mistake.
This is a mistake for Philadelphia because Braden Colburn's arguably their best penalty kill on the back end, and that's a cross-check, a graphic cross-check right into the back of Marty St. Louis.
Coburn sits. The power play for the Rangers is empty in the last 15. It is brought to you by Husqvarna. To the back it comes down to McDonough. Shaken on a cross. Drive by Zuccarello on a block there. Fed across and the misfire for Brassard by Zuccarello. McDonough is joined out there by Richards, and the pass is on his blade. You see the numbers as this one angled right back and can be controlled by Reed.
Well, I'm not sure why Steve Mason was going out to play that puck. When it's up in the glass, you got to stay home there. And took a fortunate Flyer bounce.
Especially in this building, Eddie, as you know, the stanchions are really tough in this building.
Led on back there for the carry by McDonough, sealed up on the half boards by Tiemann. It came on back to Pouliot, given back over to Richards. Thrown across for McDonough, takes it off the board and deals it back in. Zuccarello can pivot there. Pouliot is the man at the front. It's wheeled away from McDonough and down.
Good stick there from Timo Tiemann.
Not a shot on the first minute of this power play. Winking down to the last half of the first period of play. As of now, shots are 8-7 in favor of the Rangers. Walked ahead by Marty St. Louis. Led on to the back to John Moore and across for a shot by Richards. Fought right off by Mason and clear.
Boy, that was a difficult stop, Doc. That puck was redirected about 35 feet out. It looked like it was going to the stick side of Mason, and then it was redirected out, and he made a real good reactive save there.
This morning in practice, Marty St. Louis was practicing his one knee down shot from the right wing offensive circle. That's where he'll set up eventually. This is Moore with a drive, and it got the glass, and then there's St. Louis checked off. The puck bounces free for the clear, back down by Couturier with a dozen to go. One shot on goal by the Rangers and two others blocked by the Flyers. Girardi slides it across. Pitch back in again to the corner. Stepping to it there, Braden Shen. Nudged off and Boyle connected along there to Dorsett. Flipped one in front that's guided away by Strike. Played along by Coburn. Gotten by Braden Shen and tucked further after that one. And seeing it taken along and away from all of the traffic was one of the Flyers as it's brought back now by Boyle and he's chased off. Hartnell, the identified one of the Flyers, is able to bring this ahead and drag it on. Fakes the drive, circles, looks over his options and gives it on back for a fake and then a pass over by Strike. Turning with that and peeled off was McDonald. Went down to the ice. It's played along then by Girardi. Wrapped on around further for the carry up by Dorsett. Dorsett rattled it back in again and it swirled behind Mason all the way up the boards and Giroux fresh from the bench can take it. Circle to circle he goes across from McDonald to Strike. 8 1/4 to go. Full strength action here. Game 6, best of 7, 3 games to 2 Rangers. Flyers leading 1-0 on Simmons' power play goal.
Nice play by Hagelin defensively on Giroux.
Carried ahead by Brad Richards, trying to step by. Richards backhanded one that had to be jammed away by Mason, who has been strong.
Eddie, see where McDonough was there on that rush? He was right on the goal crease.
Played back across for Raffl to shake it ahead. Moving back in is Giroux. Dealt it on back. Tiemann it. Oh, and the pass was blocked by McDonough. And this is a big rush here for the Rangers. Getting back is Tiemann. Thrown around and blocked away neatly by Coburn. Around further now, and Brassard had that one taken away and shaken back off the boards, and so the Flyers dodged one.
Big time play there from Coburn. Tiemann has got to shoot that puck on that opportunity back in the offensive zone.
Don't you think JT Miller should have dropped that puck off rather than force feed the 2-on-1, Eddie?
Got to move it right away at the blue line, force the defense to make a decision. That's almost passed it right into the coverage of the Flyers.
Exactly.
Good play from Coburn.
Hooked on around behind and stepping to it, Zuccarello. Meeting him there is Adam Hall, the bigger man. Shoved off the smaller one. The puck is still up for grabs. Girardi trying to seal with Hall, and reaching in is Ronaldo. Poked along now for the carry back up. It is Pouliot there. Pouliot trying to shake by. Deals to the corner with Luke Shen, and is able to force one on back. Here's Stepan over to Stroman, and a save made by Mason. He has been impressive. 11 for 11.
Just solid start, but some turnovers deep in your own zone. Is that nerves or something the Rangers are doing?
Well, they pressure hard. They're a good pressure team. We're making too soft the plays. We're trying to be too cute. You know, sometimes with that pressure, you got to get the puck out. We're not doing that right now.
Are you happy with your forecheck game so far?
Yes, I am. You know, I think that we had some opportunities to shoot the puck and we didn't.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you.
And I think on that last opportunity for Kimmo Timonen, you got a chance to get it to net. You had people driving net. Don't want to try to be too fine in this situation.
Carried ahead now by Matt Reed. Reed for the Flyers dropped it on a long, and it's allowed to go on to Couturier. Couturier watched by Stepan, circles and tucked a little pass over that's kept alive by McDonald, and off the gong of Lundqvist intently, and so it is Atkinson. Around behind off Couturier. There was a guy named Roman Chetmonik that used to do those here. Lundqvist has probably had the better of the two careers. This is handed on now to Nash. It would seem that a lot of your attempts being blocked is frustrating to an offense like the Flyers. Rangers have blocked 103 to 68 for the Flyers in the first 5 games. The blocks in this one are 6-4 Rangers.
And I think the mindset has to be there for the Flyers, Doc, is that when you get it, you got to get rid of it. You can't hold on to it. Another giveaway by Couturier in his own zone.
Sent around behind, and Dorsett there, chopped away from him by Coburn, and then he shoved for a little extra measure. Atkinson forces it back down and goes after it. Turned along by Stahl and back up the boards. Turned on by Dorsett. Lob back in by Boyle. After it is Dominic Moore. Jostles there with Gustafsson. Played along by Hartnell and backhanded down. Short of icing. It'll be taken by Dan Girardi. And Girardi banked it behind. Oh, in trouble for Miller. Simmons has shot and a save made by Lundqvist. And another try. A rare Ranger turnover there. Banked around behind and up the boards it comes. Luke Schenn dubbed the shot. It is brushed on back and another try is blocked down in front and carried back up by McDonough. Then Richards, then Hagelin, and then back in for Mason. 4:40 to go, first period of play. The shots are 11-9 in favor of the Rangers.
And from the start of this game, a little line adjustment there from Craig Berube. Moving Michael Raffl up with Drew and Voracek and dropping Hartnell down with Schenn and Simmons. Remember that last line that created that last opportunity. Another good chance for Simmons with a good left pad save from Henrik Lundqvist.
Nice move by Stahl there to shake away from the forecheck. It went off of Pouliot, settled down by Voracek. Checked off though. Brassard able to step around behind, worms his way along and drops it off to Zuccarello. Zuccarello wants the wraparound, fought at the side of the net, did not go. As working with Pouliot, checking with Giroux, covering is Mason, and play is stopped. 11 shots to 10 Rangers, 1-0 Flyers. Inside the Glass is presented by Capital One, and here's Pierre.
Thanks a lot, Doc. Well, the Philadelphia Flyers, they know what they have to do if they're going to win this series. They have to establish a forecheck early and often. Dan Girardi goes back, Braden Schenn hard on the body. Kimmo Timonen pitches down, support on the board, bodies to that. Adam Hall, right after Matt Zuccarello, Zach Rinaldo, right after Dan Girardi. Chip chase from Couturier, keep it alive, get up below the icing line, Matt Reed there. And Wayne Simmons capitalizes on a goal by going hard to the net. Flyers are doing what they need to do to get chances.
Here's John Moore rattling it around behind St. Louis, up with it there. Marty St. Louis just drifts to the outside, fed it on now. Moore had trouble, but then is able to recover through Reed and the straight stick. Now lofted along by Timonen and handed off for the carry back up. Charging up the wing is Reed. Toe drag and a shot is stifled there by Girardi and hooked back over to the half boards by St. Louis. Atkinson tried to get by and was hammered down by Girardi. So John Moore with a pass up the wing, and it's floated by Nash up to Stepan. Through now for a nice return to Stepan and a great denial by McDonough. The give and go was pretty neat, and it was read all the way by McDonald. And so it is cleared.
It's been a rough period for Sean Couturier. Watch what ends up happening. Johnny Moore's got this puck. He's got no stick. You got to stay there. Look at Moore. He reads the open ice. Couturier goes to the bench. They're a little bit slow to get it to him. Good recovery there from Matt Reed to come over. But in that situation, You can't leave that player that wide open. I don't care how close your bench is. You got to make sure that puck's not going to go to him. And a missed opportunity there for the Rangers. Talk about giveaways, 9-1 in favor of the Flyers to this point.
And in the series, 60-29. Green could not get to the front. Outlet it ahead now for the carry on by Hagelin. Wrist one that is stopped and then covered by Mason. For extensive series coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs, go to NHL.com from your computer or phone. Get video highlights and in-depth analysis of every game direct from the experts. Simmons from Hartnell and Giroux at 7:08, a power play goal. Shots are 13-10 in favor of the Rangers. 2:57 to go in the first. And just reading the scoreboard, the 50-50 is at 18 grand or a little more. Meanwhile, it's handed across now for a shot by Zuccarello that's blocked down. And then careened on back. And having trouble with that is Brassard. Not having trouble is Giroux. Flyer captain puts on the brakes. Hands it back for a drive by Gustafsson that was blocked away by Zuccarello in some pain, but stays in the play. Voracek tries to step to the front, and Zuccarello got there to take it from him and step back out. Run off by Giroux. Skimming along is Raffl, trying to reach in for a moment with Pouliot, but now it's Luke Schenn nudging it on. And Giroux with a three-man cluster, make it 4 counting the stripes. And out of the confusion, Lundqvist stops and gives to Stralman. Pierre, were you officiating there?
I was just watching Matt Zuccarello go after Jake Voracek. He did a pretty good job.
Meanwhile, along the half boards, battled for and pushed ahead now by Hartnell. On a cross for the carry by Streit. Tapped it along, tried to get through Boyle. No small matter. Played around behind by Braden Schenn. Jostled was Hartnell. Hartnell turning with it now. Angles it on back for Streit. Hurries it on across to McDonald. McDonald a shot, carefully blocked up to the mesh by Lundqvist.
Good forecheck there from the Flyers, as Pierre talked about sustaining a forecheck. But Steve Mason has made at least 3 A+ saves in this first period. The Rangers have had some really good looks. They've had a post as well. Quality chances. There's one for Rick Nash. And how about this one? There's that one that's redirected about 35 feet out. And then Anton Stralman tries to go upstairs, not high enough on Steve Mason. So far, so good. Rangers outchancing the Flyers by 1, 8-7.
Here's Reed's shot, and that one blocked away, and that makes it 8-8. To the back now it comes to Timonen. Lobbed it to the corner. It bounced back over for the play by Atkinson that failed. He gets it back again and led one around in front. A good defensive play made there by Klein, and it's sent wide. McDonough tried to brush it on further. In traffic, Nash is able to pivot away. Rick Nash marches on with it for the Rangers, able to step in. Nash looks now, crosses and shot it just wide.
Nice attempt there. Good effort. Good try there from Nash.
Poked along by Timonen. San Luis squibbed it free for Stahl in deep. Meanwhile, it's held along the boards and chopped at some more to a side. And taken along further by Stepan. Sealed up neatly there. And a little bear hug that came from Timonen. Final minute of play in the first. Rolled to the back. Stralman a shot. It missed the net. Poked back along by Stahl. And then left behind now for Hagelin to feed one in front. Oh, expanding on the shot was Stepan. The net was yawning open.
Just jumped over a stick at the last second, Doc.
Played onto the back but down. And so Stralman will retreat to play in the last half minute of the first. Smoked out by a couple of Flyers, and Giroux, one of them, dealt it back in deep. Voracek backhander, and he got the glass. Along it comes to Streit in the last 20. Streit fed one, cut there by McDonough. Leaned on enough by Raffl, and a freight train hit across the way on Hagelin. More trouble for the Rangers in their own end, broken by throwing it back down. 6 seconds to go. No icing on the play, and that'll do it for the first. And the fans are standing. The only scorer was Wayne Simmons. 12 stops for Lundqvist, 13 for Mason. Stay tuned for the Lexus intermission with Liam, Mike, and JR. A strong start for Mason and the Wild Avs Game 7 preview. Just some of what you will hear discussed by our trio during the intermission. Hartnell and Giroux the assists on Simmons' goal. Shots 13-13. 1-0 Philly. The Stanley Cup playoffs on NBC are brought to you by Lexus and their pursuit of perfection. And by Coors Light. Cheers, Eric L. You're the super cold fan of the week. Boathouse Row on the Schuylkill. The ice is frozen here, and the dominant players were superb. Mason, perfect, facing 13. Almost perfect was Lundqvist, had no chance on the carom shot rebound goal by Simmons. And it is 1-0 entering the second. No carryover penalties nor power plays.
No question the better team in the first period were the New York Rangers, but a lot of that had to do with the giveaways by the Flyers. They gave the Rangers some quality chances.
In the series now, the giveaways are 60-30. The Flyers with the double amount. On now to Nash and wide. It was 9-2 in the first period. Yet the most important statistic is the one at the top of your screen. The chances and all of those other things are really interesting, but they're just brain candy. What counts is the goals, and sometimes it's mystifying on who loses the statistical battle and who wins the game. Thrown along by Coburn. Taken along further by Reed. Oh, and a handcuffing sort of pass in front. Did not work for Atkinson. Now in a 3-on-2, carried on by Stepan, slithered on goal, and a save made by Mason, and the rebound comes to Strite, and dumped along now for Reed to bring ahead. Has Atkinson with him, tried to force it through. Atkinson got there, tapped one off Girardi, who recovered and played on for McDonough. Ooh, we knew something booming was coming, and getting mostly glass was Braden Shen. Dominic Ford tried to jam it along, forced back up the boards, knifed down by Dorsett, and thrown. What a mass of players were standing in front of Mason. Angled ahead, and this one ricocheted back now. Finessed on by Girardi, taken back by Braden Shen, right around in front. Score! It is Simmons again.
You mentioned Braden Shen a little bit earlier, Doc, going for a big hit, but he does a great job of leading with the stick to force the turnover on Dan Girardi, and this puck just finds its way to wide open Wayne Simmons.
Just so lethal from that area. A lot of guys would score those goals, but Wayne Simmons scores most of them from right there. And the chemistry that started to evolve between Simmons and Shen all season long has been a ton of fun to watch.
Forced on by Mason, away from Voracek, brought out by Giroux, crisply ahead and marching on with it now as Raffl wipes out, puck poked along by Luke Shen and grabbed off by Giroux, flung across the net mouth wide, and it is Hagelin. Braden Shen with the lone assist on that goal by Simmons, his second of the game, third of the series. Down to the ice, Giroux, played on back though by John Moore, and he takes it behind. Smoked down by Raffl. He's able to pass it ahead, and Richards' pass is taken eventually on by J.T. Miller in a shot. Stopped by the stick of Mason and brought back by the Flyers. It is fire wagon action here as it's thrown ahead by Voracek, but it ricocheted back to Braden Coburn.
Voracek got lucky there. All he had to do was just keep going down those right wing boards, get the puck in at the end of a long shift, almost turned the puck over.
More the long toss. Zuccarello the short one. Brassard moves on, tried to force it along. McDonald got in his way legally. LeCavalier finesses one. Couldn't be handled by Hall. Then LeCavalier again, and he comes by and over skates. Forced on by Pouliot. It bounced onto McDonald. Got away from the hook of Brassard. And the pass comes back ahead for the carry-on by LeCavalier. Dragged back in now by Mark Strite. Ripped along past LeCavalier to Zach Ronaldo, who allows it to go back for a shot by McDonald. That is wide.
That was a good play there by Ronaldo, really to dummy that play. Everybody thought he was going to play the puck, let it go all the way back to the point.
A dive by Zuccarello fails, but the puck goes all the way down and is taken along by McDonough. And a long toss his way goes on to St. Louis, poked on through for Stepan. Stepan shouldered there, stiffly behind the net, held off by Timonen, so that It could be Coburn coming by, but then San Luis to the back, and Girardi a shot, and it went wide. Chip back along again, but into some trouble by Atkinson. Sent the other way, and St. Louis centered one off of Nag. Atkinson brings it back, nudges it on to Matt Reed, jabbed it back to a vacant wing, and so it's Girardi back there, hooked along by Atkinson off the referee's skate, can be played back out again by Stepan. U.S. Olympian rattled it back along, but it's taken by the Flyers this time. 4 eventful minutes gone in the second. Trickled along now for Reed, flipped it across, and it went off Couturier, and Dominic Moore was watching him. Long toss ahead away from Stahl, canceled back off of Luke Schenn by Stahl, slipped one past Dominic Moore, corralled and outletted, then back up by Atkinson, up the wing, it comes Hartnell, a shot that is shrugged away by Lundqvist. Bouncing puck is settled down and left back out by Brian Boyle. The big man's pass is flagged. Turned back on for a quick play to Hartnell. Drive and a save made by Lundqvist.
I'm going to go back to the play by Brayden Schenn. Look at where his stick is. His stick is not up. It's down on the ice, and this forces a turnover on Dan Girardi. Good stick, good positioning. Mishandles his puck, but good things happen when you put yourself in that position. There you see Wayne Simmonds just hoping that puck finds him off to that weak side. No chance for Henrik Lundqvist, but an outstanding shift there from Brayden Schenn from the physical part of the game, but also the techniques and the fundamentals with leading with his stick to force a turnover.
4 scoring chances for the Flyers, none for the Rangers this period. 13-8 in the game. First time the Flyers have led after one period in the series so far. Yanked back in by Hagelin, settled down by Mason, then for McDonald, and he can start on. McDonald drips ahead, crosses the center ice red line, and drops it on for Voracek. Voracek sealed up there by McDonough. Held pass to come. Raffl did not get it. It's forced to the front off of Voracek, who's buried there. Kept alive and sent back in deep past Raffl, and Voracek again.
Good power move there from Voracek to win that battle on Ryan McDonough and then take the puck to the net.
It is Richards starting the other way with Miller and Hagelin. Richards able to gain the zone, dropped it back. McDonough drive, and that stick to the glass, and then grabbed off the carom from the right field corrugated wall at Shibe Park by the netminder Mason. That's a little much, isn't it? Inside the glass, presented by Toyota. Here's Pierre.
Well, he just showed you Wayne Simmonds goal. One thing the Philadelphia Flyers are trying to do to Henrik Lundqvist, get bodies to the front of the net. And you don't want Henrik Lundqvist to get too comfortable. So lots of bodies, lots of sticks, lots of people, and try to get Henrik Lundqvist a little bit more uncomfortable. And you see Wayne Simmonds, most of his goals come right around that area, right at the top of the crease. And for the Flyers, that's clearly part of their plan as they attack Henrik Lundqvist.
Simmonds a pair of goals for his team in this contest tonight. Forced off the boards and taken along there, and then shoved back off the glass and down by Gustafsson. A race on, and a sufficient enough race that apparently the Rangers were going to win, so icing is called.
Eddie's that subtle little line change we're alluding to from Craig Berube, where you have Hartnell, Schenn, and Simmonds, and then you have Raffl, Giroux, and Voracek. That moves Vinny Lecavalier down to the 4th center ice position, where he's playing with Adam Hall right now and Zach Rinaldo. That's a pretty good 4th-line player in Vinny Lecavalier.
And a pretty good face-off guy there in Hall. So.
Yeah, and keep it simple. I think that's the mindset there for Vinny Lecavalier, playing with 2 guys like that. Keep the puck going straight ahead. Get an opportunity. Let those guys get in on the forecheck, and you come in and pick up the pieces.
This one tucked back out, deflected on by Zuccarello, walked on by Brassard, and a shot is held by Mason. The guy is only 25. He's only playing his 2nd Flyer game in the playoffs, and he won the first one. Tomorrow night, what's coming up? All game 7s. How's that? Flyers at Rangers if necessary. Minnesota at Colorado is 9:30 on CNBC. Take it over.
And San Jose, LA, Doc. The LA Kings down 3-0 is now 3-3. Could you imagine, though, the 2nd time in 4 years, the team come down from being down 3-0, and the Flyers did it. And Mike Richards and Jeff Carter were on that team. And now they're on the LA Kings trying to make history twice for the 2nd time in 4 years.
Drop to the outside, Nash. John Moore there, gives to Klein, feeds for Nash, jammed at the front, penalty coming up, and this one will be against the Flyers.
Yeah, it's on Sean Couturier for hooking up Rick Nash.
Big number 17 has scored twice, only 2 in the game.
Well, it's been a rough night for Sean Couturier, and it got a little rougher here. Takes a bad penalty on Rick Nash. Hooking, easy call. Power play chance here for the Rangers, down by 2 midway in period 2.
16 straight penalty kills in the series for the Flyers. Rangers over the prior one, and they only had a single shot on goal in that power play. Timonen sent that one along, and nearly wiping out into his own bench to try to shoulder it down was Brassard. Meanwhile, 120 feet away, it comes right back to 120 feet quickly. Pouliot reverses, banked one back to the point. Just arriving to keep it in was McDonough, but it goes up into the mesh, and the face-off will be back in neutral ice.
Puck was rolling on him. That's why it careened up and over the glass. He couldn't get it to settle down.
Now, talking with Ryan McDonough this morning at the pregame skate, is that one of the things that has made his team so effective in this series is that the forwards have done a great job of coming back and helping the defensemen, especially in the area between the 2 blue lines.
That one chopped on now, wiping out but tucking it back. San Luis gets it back again from Richards. San Luis just drifting back to Richards yet again. Shuffles it back over for Stepan. Stepan to Richards, and that one blocked in front by Coburn and clear. Rushing back up with it, Richards. 50 gone on the power play for the Rangers. Richards gave it across. San Luis up with it there. Couldn't get it through both. And it's ladled back out again by Raffl. And then sent back across for John Moore. Pivoting with this now is Marty San Luis. Dips the shoulder and tries to shake by Raffl. Got by one, but the puck given up and cleared by Coburn.
Too much individual play there by Marty St. Louis. Trying to beat a Flyer in the middle of the ice, and then all of a sudden good pressure coming in support, and easy play for the Flyers.
That decision making, sorry, Doc.
That's okay. And the bouncer is skipped and then played back on by Mason. Sent back further and cleared by Hall. Sorry, Pierre, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the biggest thing, Doc, is that the decision-making, and he's talking about individual play, poor decision-making by the Rangers.
Zuccarello able to shake back in with this and pivot and yank one that is dumped back out again by Giroux. And down for Zuccarello to take in the last 15. It is an enthusiastic crowd here in Philadelphia tonight. They have given standing ovations to Mason and maybe the penalty killers. Stahl shoved off there by Luke Schenk. The bouncer goes behind, reached there, and played along by Hartnell to Timonen, then back off the boards and out again from the box. Couturier sent it across to Hartnell, and he played one that was chopped along by Zuccarello. Swatted on back for no one in particular until now. Pouliot shakes it off the boards, takes his own pass, and then is run into partly by Hartnell, and it is controlled by the Flyers defense. 17 consecutive kills by the Flyers penalty killers in the series. It goes to Boyle. Great train down by Ronaldo. Played back ahead and then sent flying is Simmons by Dorsett. Dorsett able to play it as far as center.
Thought that was a late hit there by Ronaldo on Boyle. The puck had already left.
The cover after the initial stop by Lundqvist. And it is starting to bubble, isn't it?
Now, these are the guys, if you're Philadelphia, you want them to get rough. Not sure about the lateness there. I agree with Eddie. That's a little bit late from Zach Ronaldo. It's a clean hit, but it's late. And you got to admire the way Derek Dorsett came back and tried to stabilize the situation. Zach Ronaldo, when I was going over to interview Craig Berube on the bench, Berube was giving it to him pretty good. He said, would you start playing the way you're capable of? Stop trying to be cute, start being fancy, stop being fancy, and start getting physical. And he clearly listened to his coach.
He had said that thus far the series had been below regular season in intensity. And other sage observers around here, especially old players, would say the same thing. This has not been anything like past Flyer Ranger series in that regard.
The Rangers don't want anything to do with that. They're not built that way. They don't play that way. They're not a big team. They're not a grind team. They're a trade chance, more skill type of team. And the more it can get ugly like that and be physical, it certainly favors the Flyers.
This is played along now for Hagelin. Hagelin able to spirit it behind, and it bounced on. McDonald couldn't come up with it, and not much of a shot there from Richards as the puck was bouncing on him. And it's played back in by Ronaldo. Ronaldo around behind, and he's boomed into by Kevin Klein. On to center, tipped by Stepan. Rifled back across and poked on by Miller. Carried on by Giroux. Left behind for Ronaldo. Back to Giroux with Coburn breaking along, but then it is dropped back along for the reach by McDonough that fails. Helter-skelter with defensemen far up the ice. It's all right, legal, tapped along. Oh, and Atkinson was hit there and shoved the second time by John Moore. Rattled around now, and it's played across by St. Louis. Grabbed off there by Couturier. Turned around by John Moore and shoved a second time. And reaching in to play it along was Reed. Carried along, and a shot by McDonald was wide. Rebound is sent to the slot, but right there was Nash to poke it along out to center. Then along comes St. Louis. Crosses, reaches to the outside, and sent one off the glass. It is Nash with it there. Nash pivoting, stepping to the slot, and a shot hit a leg. Rebound played on back by Stepan. Strawman tried to play it further, and it went off of Reed. Strawman again hands it over to Stahl. Stahl with a shot that is stifled by Couturier and ladled on back in the backhand to center. Controlled on further now by Atkinson. Atkinson dropped it across. Stepping in is Gustafsson. Waited and then shot one that was blocked away by Lundqvist. Gustafsson played it along again. Strawman started ahead. Closed off there in center. Tries to fight his way through. And finally, it goes back into the Flyer zone where Mason comes out to hook it along. Staying clear of the pie slice, back up the boards and comes to center. McDonald flips one that's grabbed by Mason and put back in play. Under 8.5 to go, second period, game 6. Flyers trying to send it to New York tomorrow night for a 7th. Voracek drags it around, holds now, fed it on back. Gustafsson, a shot that is blocked back down by Girardi. It is Giroux playing it back in, sacrificing everything. Along it comes for Voracek. That one floated across. Pouliot drove it back ahead. McDonough finessed it on. Dominic Moore knocked it down and kept going. Here's Moore dropping it back behind. Mason stopped it there and played it along. Dorsett is hurt, and a penalty is coming out. They are checking him. Will it be 2 minors? Or will it be 1? We will get the verdict when we come back.
Power play hasn't been that effective in this series and not in this game. What do you have to do to make it better?
Well, we just got to execute better. Our power play hasn't executed so far. We're getting another opportunity right now.
Do you pay attention at all to the fact that games 6 and 7 are back-to-back and how you have to manage your players' minutes?
Listen, I'm focused on trying to win this game right now. In the second period, they've played better than we have. We got to get the momentum back here.
Thanks a lot, Alan.
Thanks, Pierre.
Well, some question to why the penalty. Well, right there you see the stick of Erik Gustafsson getting a piece of Derek Dorsett. Huge opportunity here for the Rangers.
17 straight kills by the Flyers in the series. Timonen will make them chase. A little over 7.5 to go second period. On 2 Wayne Simmons goals, one in the first, one in the second, the Flyers have the lead. Pushed on through by Stepan and drilled back down by Coburn. Again, Lundqvist played it on for the nice turn and take away from the forecheck of Reed by McDonough. McDonough dropped it back. Nash ripped it across, got the return from Stepan, could not get by the reach of Coburn. 45 gone on the power play. 7 to go in the second. Away from the reach of Mason. Shrugged down by Coburn, brought on by Nash. Scaled behind for the play by St. Louis. Watched there by Couturier. Played on by San Luis to Nash. Ripped on back and settled down by Richards. Richards able to finesse onto San Luis. Bounces it back to Richards. Throws one to Stepan. Give it to McDonough. Wide with the shot. 3/4 of a minute to go on this power play.
Rangers finally got set up because they shot the puck in. They were able to change sides, get it set up.
Ahead it comes to Pouliot. Oh, and what a save by Mason! And again they are standing.
Well, what a pass here from Matt Zuccarello. A little bit too far in front of Benoit Pouliot, not able to observe what he was trying to go. And he tries to go top shelf, and Mason denies.
The long stretch pass, great pass from Zuccarello. I love how Mason just stood up and challenged, made himself so big.
Boy, he was very deep in his net as well. Not really out on top of the blue paint. There was some room around the shoulder. I don't think you can shoot off to the side or the hip with Steve Mason. I think right now it's got to be a little chin music or over the shoulders if you're the Ranger shooters.
Girardi's pass must be retrieved by Moore at center ice. 20 to go on the power play. Settled down by Brassard. Punched across. Trying to finesse through that time with Zuccarello, no luck. And so pivoting is Brassard. Has Zuccarello, marches up the middle. Tucked it over for Zuccarello, 2 seconds and 1. Penalty time is up, and it's swatted back out. Gustafsson after it, and he'll move in. Scores!
Well, as a player, you just dream about this situation. The door's going to open, your team gets the puck, and just get it to an area of the ice, and that's Braden Colburn. Henrik Lundqvist thinks about coming out, but this puck slows down. So he's not able to come all the way out, and Gustafsson makes no mistake.
His 8th career playoff game. He scored once before in the playoffs 2 years ago. Gets that rolling puck. Comes in on Lundqvist. Puts it 5-hole. Flawed decision making by the Rangers. Excellent play by the Philadelphia Flyers. And now right in front of me, you have Derek Dorsett challenging Scott Hartnell to try to get the Rangers percolated.
It is strike, boomed into by Dorsett, and he will get a penalty and a crowd.
He was trying to do this on that opening faceoff, and he carried through on it right into Mark Streit. And I don't like that hit at all, Eddie.
Streit is really in some distress here. Has not even made it back to his feet.
Jim McCross and the trainers running out to try to help Streit. But Dorsett was trying to get something going with Hartnell right off the draw. You know what he's out there for. He's out there to try to get the Rangers going.
So we will see what the penalties wind up being. Steve Pizzari, you notice with the swelling and discoloration on his own face from having a shot hit him earlier in the playoffs. These will be interesting penalties indeed. We'll be back.
Watch the left skate of Mark Streit. Gets upended by Derek Dorsett right there. That's why the player falls dangerously into the boards, and it took Streit a good 60 seconds to get back to his feet. Good to see him still on the bench. Clearly a penalty, a trip on Dorsett's. Opportunity for the Flyers.
Power play on. The Flyers 1 for 1 with 4 shots. Wayne Simmons, who scored on the first one, and the 4th shot is out there and moves down near Lundqvist, and now steps toward the plate closer as Hartnell preoccupied with McDonough, and then it's given across for the carry back up, and the blast back on by Hagelin that had to be stopped. A tricky one for Mason. Ridden off was Boyle. Meanwhile, it is carried back up now. Motoring on is Voracek, and Voracek gains the line. Hands it on for the rip back by Giroux, and then it's tucked on back to the point, and just arriving in time was Timonen. Timonen able to walk it across. Has Voracek to his right, gives opposite side to Giroux, and that one is blocked right back out again. Can be played on now by Timonen to Giroux once more. Hartnell inside the box, rifled over to Voracek. Drifting in front, one in front, score! The hat trick!
What a great redirection by Wayne Simmons for his third goal of the game. Right part of your screen, 17 in orange. Jake Voracek's going to make an unbelievable play right in this area here. And then all it does, it goes off the heel of the stick by Simmons. He just redirects it in behind Henrik Lundqvist. Put yourself in a spot to score goals, and a reaction from Wayne Simmons.
Well, the pictures don't lie on Wayne Simmons. It's always virtually in the same spot when he scores because he's fearless, he's strong, he's tough, and he's really proud. And when you watch all his goals all the time, going back to when he played Nolan Soundon Jr., that's basically where he scored from. One of the best slot area players in the game today.
Boy, that was just a terrific play by Jake Voracek. To be able to hold on to the puck, not shoot it. You had two Flyer players in front of the net. Scotty Hartnell's there as well, looking possibly for the redirect. And then there you see Hartnell in behind the defensive zone coverage of McDonough and Girardi. No shooting motion at all. Just open up the blade of the stick and then watch it hit the blade and follow it in behind Henrik Lundqvist.
Let's look at Wayne Simmons' body of work tonight, Eddie and Doc. There's Jake Voracek, who made that slick pass that Eddie's talking about. But you got to be tough, you got to be strong. Virtually the same area right there, battling for the loose puck. There's the strength. Right there again, same side of the net. Right-hand shot on the left-hand side of the ice. Give it to him. Yeah, he'll put it in. They used to have a player here, Doc, that I know you know very well, Eddie knows very well, Timmy Kerr. Wayne Simmons is not that big, but man, oh man, there's a lot of Timmy Kerr and how he finishes plays off him in front of the net.
Once heard that Tim Kerr was stronger than a garlic milkshake.
Very good.
And that came from the voice of Dale Talon, the former Blackhawks color analysis on TV with Pat Foley back in the day. Now, of course, the general manager of the Florida Panthers. And I think I'll pass on that milkshake, Doc, for down the road.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Boy, Tim Kerr could score, though. He could really let that puck go.
They actually talked to him once about falling a little more because he'd get worked over, but he'd never go down. So he could never snooker the referee into power play calls. 20 shots apiece, but 4 of the Flyers have gone in, none of the Rangers.
And now for the Flyers, anytime you get the puck at the Ranger blue line, it's got to get into your blue line. It's got to get out. You don't want to give the Rangers any momentum going into the third period.
Too far for Nash, but he'll chase it down. Closed off there by Timonen. Gosh, he plays well, doesn't he? So much so that it's really McDonald. Here's Nash turning with it now. And then along for the drift back in and a save by Mason. And part of you wonders why Klein waited before he pulled the trigger on that, but it is all the way down and an icing call.
I think when you get a goaltender that's in his zone, Doc, you just start trying to be a little bit too fine. And right now, I think for the Rangers is just when you have a lane to the net, you got to get people there and shoot it and fire it as hard as you can. You can't try to be too fine. But again, I think on Steve Mason, I think the glove side is the right side, but you got to think about getting it up around the shoulders, right around the ears as well.
2 goals in a minute 2. Gustafson out of the penalty box, and Simmons on the power play, his 3rd of the night, and 2nd power play goal of the night. It is Stahl off the stick of Miller and wide. Couturier tucked it across, and Reed races ahead. Picks up Coburn now. Reed for Coburn, who deflected it to the glass. And then it is sent back along, and Atkinson couldn't come up with it. It is Miller sparring there. Atkinson now has it. Drifts around behind. Bennett back over, and a shot is held by Lundqvist from Luke Schenn.
And for Craig Berube, now's the time when you can really be a coach. You're up 4-0. You know 6 and 7 are back-to-back. He's going to start playing his bench. That's why I asked Alain Vigneault the question about fourth lines and how much you're going to get place time to your guys. He's going to play this fourth line with the Cavalier a lot, with Adam Hall a lot, with Ronaldo a lot. They're going to try to soften up the Ranger defense to try to plant a seed for Game 7.
Klein played that off the back of the cage and was just drilled there for his trouble by Ronaldo. Carried ahead by John Moore. Moore drifting and shooting. Oh, and a strong shot had to be answered and was by Mason. Gustafson dueling there with Brassard. It was quite a bit, wasn't it? To the back to Klein. Then along to Pouliot. Slugged back to John Moore. Drifts there and throws one that caught the glass behind. Gustafson to work on Brassard again. A little pass in front that is forced off of Brassard, and then controlled by Gustafson, and able to play along, and then he was hammered to the boards and glass by Pouliot. 2 3/4 minutes to go here in the second. 4-0 in favor of the Flyers.
Good to see Streit back on the ice.
Racing ahead is Dominic Moore, trying to part the sea, and then comes up with it and finessed one that is sealed by Mason.
And this is something I think we're going to see a lot. Right off that face-off, puck's going to go back. Watch Zach Ronaldo. He doesn't even waste any time. Goes right after Kevin Klein. That's what I think we're going to see, a steady stream of the rest of the way for the Flyers. Continue to go after the Ranger defense. You heard Scotty Hartnell when we talked to him before the game. We got to hit Girardi. We have to hit McDonough. I think the whole team's going to start doing that.
Ronaldo better keep his stick down. You got to keep your stick down when you're going making finish checks. They're pretty easy to get a high stick. Got to get those hands down. Going to play that way.
And high sticks can be 2, 4, or 5, depending on severity. And if the stick is up, you don't have sometimes a lot of control on how severe it's going to be. Ahead with this now is Giroux. He's got a man flying. Braden Schenn getting a piece of it was Lundqvist. Looked like it might have gone out of play, but at any rate, it is Stralman. Twisted on along, and then upended was Dorsett. Trying to fish it, loses Hartnell. Dorsett trying to trap it, has done part of a 360 in doing it. Now is sent the reverse by Hartnell's reach. And so out of all of that, it's a pass that's flagged down by Giroux and forced on back. Off of Hartnell and back in. Then on back to Lundqvist. Looked like it might be an icing, but I guess not. Meanwhile, it is played along to Stahl, and then skied all the way back. So it's Gustafson turning away from St. Louis. Little trouble there, but he played it on out to Stralman. Tries to muscle his way back, hacked away by Raffl, and then sent back in again. And stopped by Mason. Gustafson played it up the wing. Raffl fell from his knees, tried to play it further. Voracek able to stop it and wanted to finesse by, but no luck. Nash connects on to St. Louis, who moves in. Finessed one on through, and it went off the stick of Stepan. And play is stopped. Call Star NHL to download NHL Game Center and get a free premium upgrade only on Verizon. Enjoy exclusives like free live NBC national games. Never be without hockey.
Good defensive play there. Andrew MacDonald coming back and denying the Rangers a quality chance off the pass from Marty St. Louis.
What do you think they're discussing here? Just the positioning of this? Defensively, what they'll do?
Yeah, just understanding who's going out and Just making sure everybody's on the same page. What way you're going to exit the zone off of one face-off there. You see McDonald comes in behind after Hall wins the draw and come up the strong side.
Bouncer ahead, skipped over the stick of Richards. Played by McDonald with 40 to go in the second. Coburn rifled it ahead, and it's deflected back down. In this year's playoffs, no lead is safe. And the worst lead in hockey is any lead. Well, it's significant. It's 4-0. But as Pittsburgh found last night, that can even produce a scare.
Well, Pierre made the point about Craig Berube able to play his fourth line a little bit more in this situation. And to the physical part of it, anytime a Ranger defenseman goes back for the puck, a Flyer forward is finishing their check. May not pay dividends right now, but in a long 7-game series, which it certainly looks like the possibility that there will be tomorrow night at Madison Square Garden, that's possibly where it takes its toll. Even when you get early in a series, those hits may not pay dividends early in the series, but if you get to game 6 and 7 for guys that log a lot of minutes on the Ranger side, and Girardi and McDonough, you never know that one time. Little fatigue, turn the puck over, and that's the series.
McDonald rifled this one along and skittered on back, and a shot is cut off there and spirited along further, but kept alive by Girardi. To McDonough, wanted to feed one for Zuccarello. With 5 seconds to go, Simmons ahead to Braden Shen. Simmons moving in, and it's all canceled down because of an offside, but that does not stop the misunderstanding.
I think Simmons is going to get a penalty here. Looks like the referee caught him, giving a shot in the pile.
Simmons didn't like the way McDonough rode him in hard after the whistle, Eddie. I agree with you. I think Simmons is going to get a penalty, but that's why he went after McDonough. The whistle blew it.
That's not a good penalty, though, by Wayne Simmons in this situation.
Agreed. Totally agreed.
And tough to hear the whistle for sure. But when you start swinging after the whistle, there's a pretty good chance you're going to end up in a penalty box. So to me, it only looked like there was going to be one penalty on the play, and it was going to be on Wayne Simmons. Wayne Simmons looking for his 4th goal. Whistle had gone.
2 minutes roughing.
Little bit of a push. Okay, no problem. Everything's good here except for that one right there. Now the door is open for the Rangers. That's one of those situations where you got to put your hands in your pocket and skate off into the third period.
Offensive zone faceoff for the Rangers with 2.9 to go in this period. If they do not score on this play, a fresh sheet of ice for the start of the third.
I think Henrik Lundqvist is going to make a skate over to the bench for the extra attacker. Plenty of time here to win a faceoff.
Where do you think Stepan's going to go with this if he wins?
Try to get it to Richards, to Girardi quickly for a one-timer, if it's clean.
Off the tie-up, reaching in is Nash. It's cleared out by Hall, and that's it. Minutes have been played, 46 shots have been taken, 23 aside and 4 goals Flyers. Stay tuned for the Discover Card second intermission. Liam, Mike, and JR. Special teams, the difference. Can the Kings complete the comeback? So, it is Simmons. It is Simmons. It is Gustafsson. It is Simmons. Sort of stuck, aren't I? The Stanley Cup playoffs on NBC are brought to you by Honda, the official vehicle of the National Hockey League. And by Verizon, the official wireless partner of the NHL. Let's take a look at our fast recovery presented by Advil, Pierre.
The Philadelphia Flyers have an organizational identity. It's about being hard. And in this game in particular, because 6 and 7 are back-to-back, they're trying to be as hard as they can on the New York Ranger defense, including Ryan McDonough and Dan Girardi. And you'll see the whistle blows. Simmons gets a penalty, but how hard Hartnell is. So definitely the Ranger defenseman will need that Advil after this game tonight.
Advil, as fast as it is strong. Cam Talbot gets his first bit of Stanley Cup experience. The Rangers have a good sense that they might be needing Henrik Lundqvist for tomorrow night as well. And that one is tossed out of play from center. 23 shots apiece. Power play for the Rangers here to start the third, and Hank will sit and watch to see if maybe there'll be a reversal of fortune, or he will be back in the goal crease on the 5th floor at Madison Square Garden tomorrow.
Prior planning prevents potential problems, and I think Al Andino's doing the right thing here, Ed Joe and Doc. I really do.
To the back it comes to Brassard, and the shot is gotten and then wafted back down the ice by Timonen. Coming out to handle is Talbot. Jammed around behind and up the boards for Richards. And back in. Booted along by Pouliot. It skips free for Reed. And again cleared back down. Reed has become quite a specialist here. And not only penalty killing, but deliberate play on the third and fourth lines. A good save made by Mason there on a strong shot by St. Louis.
Oh, skate left, shoot right. Just not able to elevate that puck again.
Forced along by Nash, and then he's able to come up with it. Nash tries to play further back to Girardi. Spun back across. McDonough there. Moves to the slot. Gives back to Girardi. Drive, and that deflected wide as Raffo got his stick in the way. Girardi again on over. McDonough shot to tip off the tip of the glove of the netminder Mason, and then went wide. A hard shot. Popped on for McDonough. Steps to that one as it flapped dead, and then had some trouble playing it on through as the Flyers converge.
Good help there from Adam Hall.
He's so underappreciated here in Philadelphia. So good at what he does.
Comes to the bench now for a change. Single shot on goal on this power play for the Rangers that has 7 seconds to go in it. Lifted along by Gustafsson, who has gotten so far the back-breaking goal coming out of the penalty box. This is trickled back along again and taken to the outside by Dominic Moore. Moore able to send it along for Dorsett, and Dorsett plowed into by Hartnell. The goal stick flies to the corner, and a penalty is coming up.
Yeah, that was Hartnell that pushed in Derek Dorsett into Steve Mason. It was Hartnell that started the domino effect. Dorsett and Mason, former teammates with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Right in front of the net. There's the cross check. There you see Dorsett. No chance for him to stop that fall into the goaltender.
But we've seen this, Eddie, around the league. They're going to call Dorsett, and they're going to call Hartnell. So Miners, but that zero tolerance on the attacking player.
Well, what is Dorsett supposed to do here? I have no idea how you give Derek Dorsett a penalty here when Scott Hartnell cross-checks him. Now, you could argue, look, he's outside the blue paint. He doesn't fall into the goaltender. But I think that's where you have to, as an official, you have to look at it, digest it, and make the call. I don't agree that the Ranger forward is in the penalty box there.
We agree, but they've made a major point of emphasis of doing that the entire playoff, and for whatever reason, they haven't changed on it at all.
For a side, Klein twisted over. John Moore's shot ricocheted off Miller. Poked back out again by Strike. And then that one knifed away, reaching for it, Voracek, but prevailing to clear back out is John Moore. 2:20 gone, third period of play. Flyers trying to force a Game 7 tomorrow night in New York. Here is Giroux. Had trouble stick handling and then is able to recover and pop it along to Voracek, who protects pretty well, but that pass was blocked and then handed back for J.T. Miller.
I think Giroux was ever thinking about shooting that puck there, Doc. He was looking to get that puck back to Andrew MacDonald, who was trailing there. Giroux had a good opportunity to let the puck go.
Stall a shot, and then the rebound hopped back under the stick of Hagelin. Brought back on by Voracek and just acquiesced back down, and so nearly 3 minutes gone here in the third period. Flyers with a 4-0 lead. It was 1-0 on Simmons' power play goal at the end of the first. And they blew in 3 in the second period, 2 from Simmons, and yet another one on the power play by him. So it will be Timonen who will skate this one back. 50 seconds to go as he takes over and reverses it along now for Braden Shen. It is Simmons. Simmons able to finesse it on through. 35 to go on the coincidental minors. John Moore hunted down by Simmons. And then Braden Shen. It is interesting if you watch every game in a series how some nights it is Zuccarello here. The bug and the windshield are interchangeable roles, and tonight it's all Flyers as it is Reeves hitting the post with the shot. On comes Klein, trying to work it in, and he's defended every inch of the way by Ronaldo, and a rising shot off the backhand of Dominic Moore got the glass. Played on around by Boyle, given behind now for the turn by Dorsett to the outside, and then on back for a shot that went wide. Taken along further by McDonough. Away from Gustafson. Twisted one off of Mason, and it's scrambled there. It bounces around, and it's in, but it is ruled no goal.
Well, good power move here from Ryan McDonough. The save, what an opportunity there for Derek Dorsett. It looks like it goes off the right hand of Brian Boyle.
Watch 22 in white. Eddie said it, the right hand's going to come in right there.
They are huddled in the referee's crease at center ice.
Yeah, no goal there.
Yep.
If Brian Boyle could have got his stick to that puck before it crossed the goal line and put it in with his stick, that goal would have counted. Boy, another terrific save by Steve Mason. No, it's a 4-0 game, but he gave his team an opportunity with an outstanding first period and some key saves when the game was 2-0. And he made a real good one on his former teammate with the Columbus Blue Jackets, Derek Dorsett, right before that glove, that hand puck into the net by Brian Boyle.
It is not only the players who play hurt at this time of the year, as you can tell from the face of Kazari. That actually looks better than he looked in Chicago on the weekend just after it happened.
After review, the puck is gloved into the net, deliberately no goal.
He was honest. He was telling his teammates right in front of me, Eddie and Doc, he said, I tried to get it off the stick, as Eddie was talking about, but it got my hand. He was being dead on honest about it.
So we are back to action, and it is still a goose egg woven by that man who catches with the right hand, Steve Mason. Pushed on by Reed, away from Nash, around to Atkinson, but held by Klein, and his shot was wide. Curled on to Couturier, dumped it onto the back, and it's handed across to Klein again. Then John Moore off the boards. Anticipating was Atkinson as he swirled down. Got his stick on this, and eventually it's flexed out by Coburn. Coburn is still tied up with Nash in front of the Flyers bench, but now they part. Off the short glass and moving it is Couturier. Sent back along by McDonough and can be played further by Klein. Backhand grabbed at center and dropped down there for the play back in by Hall. Then McDonough puts on the brakes and hands on to Hagelin. The deficit for the Rangers is 4, or it is another game tomorrow night, and it will be the last game for one of the two teams. Game 7, first round at Madison Square Garden.
Good finish hit there from Adam Hall on Brad Richards. He didn't like it, was swinging his stick after the contact.
Yeah, he was trying to hit a grand slam. Used Adam Hall as a baseball.
It's an oversized ball, isn't it? Two-a-side battle there, and it kicked on to Hagelin. Tomorrow night, you will see them all. The Game 7s might be between these two teams, but will be between Minnesota and Colorado. Oh, what a stop made by Talbot on a redirection from LeCavalier. Minnesota, Colorado, LA, San Jose tomorrow for sure. Game 7. Coors Light, cold hard facts, pertains to 3 guys in orange who have had quite a night.
Well, importance when you look at eating up minutes, generating some opportunities, and Adam Hall doing a great job on the short-handed opportunity. Vinny LeCavier, a little line juggling going on by Craig Berube to start this game, and the line has eaten up some effective minutes here with the 4-0 lead for the Flyers.
John Moore turns, flew one ahead, knifed along artistically there by Voracek, and then sent back down, and it will go for an icing.
Less than 5 days away. Saturday, the race for the Triple Crown begins with the Kentucky Derby. Coverage begins tomorrow on NBCSN, and it all leads up to the big race Saturday at 4 on NBC.
Over a century of wonderful tradition at Churchill Downs. And shorter than that, the tradition of the picks of Mr. O before the race. So we are going to wait until then, are we? No hints?
No hints, Doc. Still got to do a little bit of work in between now and Saturday.
Well, the horses have to do a little work to show you in the post parade too, I suppose.
Yeah,
right?
track condition, the post draw tomorrow to find out where the horses will be, what gate they will be breaking out of.
Net dislodged, and so this is going to come back to neutral ice. I think they're signaling this face-off to take place. Remember Jonathan Taves? He is 26 today. Brandon Dubinsky, Dave Fenves, Curtis Joseph, Doug Shett, Bruce Driver, Jim Benning, Serge Bernier, the old Flyer, and Dan Girardi are all celebrating birthdays. Girardi for the Rangers hits 3-0. That puck is cleared out of play. And Jerry Seinfeld is having a birthday today. The reason he's included, the face painter episode of Seinfeld, Devils Rangers 1995. And Ox Baker has turned 80, the legendary wrestler, and he's only included because Eddie has a signed picture of him. Knife back up for Braden Shan, and that eludes him and goes back down for another icing call.
He's got his own cookbook out there, Doc. I think he's trying to push some cookbooks from the legendary wrestler Ox Baker.
Dominic Moore to take this draw. 4-0 Flyers, 13:09 to go in the third. Full strength action here. Bit of a false start, but now Moore will go in against Adam Hall. And it comes loose for Flyer possession, nudged on to Braden Shen. Shen up the wing, drifting and firing one that is held by Talbot. Colorado, Minnesota are going to go to a 7th game in Denver. St. Louis lost to Chicago in 6. Anaheim defeated Dallas in 6. And San Jose and Los Angeles will play in San Jose tomorrow, 10 Eastern on NBCSN. We have a ball because it's the Cup. Thrown by Strike, ricocheted across. Simmons drives one that sizzled wide. Careened back out. For the play around behind for Hartnell, stood off by Stahl. Thrown back across. Braden Shen lined up Dominic Moore. Just there, as Simmons does with Boyle. I just peeled off a second there and let some time go because I wasn't sure what was happening. But here's a great play in front. And a delayed penalty call coming up against the Flyers as Dominic Moore, who has been strong in this series, was able to shake his way through.
Beautiful pass there from Marty St. Louis, and Andrew MacDonald's going to skate to the penalty box. I don't think this puck ever settled down from our vantage point here.
47, 2 minutes.
For Dominic Moore, on edge the whole time. Yeah, not really able to do anything with it. He scored on a breakaway in Game 5 back in Madison Square Garden and went glove side high on Steve Mason. And that one he wasn't able to elevate at all.
19 straight kills by the Flyers. If nothing else, the Rangers would like to get a power play goal to at least break that before they go to a Game 7 and develop a little confidence. They don't keep as much track of the stats as we do, but they sure know that they've failed in this department lately. So that is maybe the first step back. Fed on now to Stepan. Swung one for San Luis, but instead it's Girardi. Forced along, and this one scaled back down again.
I think confidence as well, too, Doc, is creating and generating and sustaining pressure on the power play. I think you can feed off of that and build off of that if the Rangers. You can't be one and done or not get the puck in. So I think to your point, yeah, you want to score, build some confidence. Looks like a Game 7 tomorrow night. But if you don't score, you still want to be able to look like your power play is dangerous to take that out of the, put that into the minds of the Flyers to say, hey, we're going to run around, take bad penalties, we're going to make you pay.
Stepping to this, McDonough threw it in front, and it was allowed to go by Gustafsson for the Flyers. Then skittered on for Luke Schenn. Schenn had quite a duel there with Zuccarello, but then it's cleared back down, and again they make the Rangers chase with half a minute to go on this man advantage. Blasted back in by Brassard, and around the roulette wheel it goes near Zuccarello. Meanwhile, it's pulled free and given on to the back to McDonough. Steps across and fakes the drive, then shuffles it on for Brassard. Brassard right across. Oh, and a save by Mason on John Moore. And the rebound. He got back in time, but a hand pass would have canceled that anyway. And now Zuccarello is drawing the attention of the guys in orange.
They pushed on Kimmo Timonen first. And then the Flyers came over to defend Kimmo Timonen.
Both guys are going to end up going to the penalty box. But what another outstanding stop by Steve Mason. Great puck movement by the Rangers. Right part of your screen. There's Johnny Moore with the opportunity. Another former teammate of Steve Mason with the Columbus Blue Jackets. There's that perfect pass for Brassard.
Roughing to Zuccarello, and so the Flyers will shift back to the power play. Seconds from now, it will be 5 against 4 Philadelphia. Talbot around behind. That one shoveled along. Flyers power play is 2 for 2. We would expect to see Wayne Simmons pretty soon. He has 2 power play goals and 3 in the game. There have in Flyers history been only 3 4-goal games in the playoffs for them. Dorsett feeds one. Tim Kerr was mentioned earlier in the broadcast, and Bill Barber and Reggie Leach, who were the wingers for Bobby Clark in the heyday of the Flyers here, back when championships were common back-to-back in the mid-70s. They had 4-goal games too. Bill Barber is watching from up in the press box here tonight. Turning with this is Voracek. That came loose, and it's fed back down by Strawman. Halfway through the abbreviated Flyers power play as Giroux saw that go off his stick, and it's gone back out. And hustling on now is Hagelin, moving on in. Glove save! Mason! Those remaining are standing.
Turnover. Flyers in the middle of a change, and here comes Carl Hagelin. The right arm extended by Steve Mason, and he's made at least 4 of 5 of those type of saves on the glove side.
Strike gains the zone, surrounded by red, white, and blue, and so it's played on back. 35 to go on the Zuccarellian minor. 9:05 left in the third. Flyers just wanting to put this one in the books and force a Game 7. Rangers have won the odd-numbered games. Thus far, the Flyers have won the even-numbered games. This one trickled back on. Braden Schenn to get it there. Each has one in the other's arena once. Brought ahead by Braden Schenn. The philosophers in sports will say what you've done once, you can do twice. Game 7s are special. And it's got the look of that here, and definitely one in Denver and one in San Jose. Fed ahead for the carry back up by LeCavalier. Shot one that is blocked down, taken by Atkinson. Atkinson blocked one that bounced near Klein and can be closed off and played on to Brassard. Swung it back over for the carry by Zuccarello, and the shot is blocked aside. Careened right back, Zuccarello to his feet again. Finessed a nice pass around behind. Held there and fed to Zuccarello, and a shot fought off in a diving play and a cover by Mason. 7:59 to go in the third. It is 4-0 Flyers. Longtime NHL and American League coach John Paddock. At one time in Maine in the American League, a player for him was Alain Vigneault, the man on the right. In the American League in Hershey, a player for him was Craig Berube on the left. The head coaches tonight were not always head coaches. John was. Eddie Olczyk played for him in Winnipeg.
Yeah, one of the two best coaches I ever played for, Doc, John Paddock, when I had a chance to play for him, as you mentioned, for the Winnipeg Jets. Looked at players that knew their strengths, didn't look at them, what they couldn't do, appreciated and put them in spots where they could succeed. Terrific guy and a terrific hockey coach.
Well, then I guess I should ask you who the other one was.
Bob Pulford.
Longtime Blackhawk. Poked away by Coburn. And this one is held in some traffic by McDonough, blocked down, and it's Ronaldo, and then a follow through by Couturier. And it is pulled free by Stepan. Guides it on ahead. San Luis moves in. Hands it over to Nash. Nash tried to poke it free, could not get through with it. And it is rolled back down and on Talbot. And there'll be an icing that will come up from this. So always interesting when someone gets their first bit of experience. Talbot, just 26 years of age, from Caledonia, Ontario. Tomorrow night, all Game 7s. Flyers, Rangers likely. Minnesota, Colorado. 10 on NBCSN, Kings and the Sharks. And Thursday, Game 1, Montreal, Boston coverage. 6:30 on NHL Live. Download the app or watch live online at NBCSports.com/live extra. Lots of hockey for you, and it continues. It's just overwhelming, the first round of the playoffs, because it's non-stop games, and you think, gee, I'm sort of tired from watching those games till 1. And then you look at the lineup, I guess I'm going to be more tired tomorrow.
Better get that nap in the afternoon. Great
Probably best if it's not in the office, right? Somehow or other, you got to finesse your way through. It is wonderful hockey to watch. And all of these series have been, as Alain Vigneault said this morning, they've been up for grabs because the series are close and there's hardly anything separating the teams. Ahead, Gallup's Hagelin had to finesse the checking of the referee to get by and try his shot. Comes up with this one again to the back. Strollman fakes the drive and then steps ahead and fires one. And then another one. Oh, it wound up going through and in. It is a goal for the New York Rangers. They have finally solved Mason with a heavy screen in front. Hagelin winds up with the goal.
Well, Anton Strollman makes a real good play to elude the shot getting blocked. He holds on to it, gets it to the front of the net, never gets there, and there's Hagelin.
Giroux was really upset at the end of this play, but Hagelin jumps on that blocked shot attempt and just beats Mason short side.
Everything's okay from this, it seems. Hartnell might argue, but he is getting back to his feet fine with a little snow on his elbow. These teams have met only once in a Game 7. That was 40 years ago in what was called then the semifinal. We would call it the conference final now. The Flyers won 4 games to 3 and moved on to play Boston for the championship. A shot by Klein, and then it is Brassard, and then on back now to Moore. We have seen goals scored more quickly that can still make this a game. It is 4-1. Directed on a cross, Braden Shen played the bounce. tucked it on, threw one that's gloved down by Klein, swatted at, and played back by Schenn to Klein, who tucked it on through to John Moore. Play stopped with 5:47 to go in the third. The home team up by 3. You are watching the 2014 Stanley Cup Playoffs presented by Geico. In history, the Rangers are 5-0 in Game 7s at Madison Square Garden. Henrik Lundqvist is 2-0 in Game 7s there. And we mentioned the only prior Game 7 between the two teams was before Henrik Lundqvist was born, 40 years ago. The 11th playoff series in history, and 4 of those were decided in a best-of-5. Led back ahead, moving on as Dominic Moore took some lumber, controlled, and shot one that snapped calmly out of the air by Mason, with 5:28 to go here in the third. What do you think he will be thinking, at least after the game, when he has let go of this one?
Well, missed opportunities in the first period. I mean, you got to tip your helmet to Steve Mason to how well he played. His team was trailing after the first period 1-0 and could easily been up by 2 goals or 3 goals. It was there for the Rangers. The Flyers had 9 giveaways in that first period. And the Rangers really dictated the terms and had a lot to do with the team in orange. Finish some of those chances and all of a sudden the game is a lot different. So I think that's what you have to feed off of if you're the Rangers for possibly Game 7 tomorrow night.
Mason with a calm block of this one. Hagelin's goal comes from Strawman and Richards. So far, the only one connected on by the Rangers tonight. Mason has faced 33 shots. Just allowed the 1. Through 2, Henrik Lundqvist had faced 23. They had scored on him 4 times. Played back along now by Stepan. Moves out with Hagelin and St. Louis. Stepan has a man breaking. Hagelin! Oh, and what a save by Mason! My goodness, Murphy!
That's something else from Steve Mason. He hadn't quit on this thing at all. Good for him. Good wide drive, Derek Stepan. Saucer pass over to Carl Hagelin. Great opportunity, but Mason pushes off from his left to his right and just tracks the puck. Jeff Reese, his goalie coach, going to be pretty happy with that one. Fundamentally, look how big he is down low. Wow.
Dominic Moore will take this draw against 6 Rangers because the net is empty. Jammed off of Gustafsson, played on further. Around behind it is Hagelin. Hagelin angles it, but it is cut, rolled back ahead, and played back down, and it will flatten to where it can be grabbed off by Stahl, and then left behind near Voracek. Yanked it on through for Strawman, and then Stahl. Glove down, and Giroux a shot, score! It is 5-1.
You like the aggressiveness of Alain Vigneault to see if you can cut this deficit to 2 goals. Good keep in there by Giroux. Hand-eye coordination, knock it down, and the puck just bounces past Anton Strawman. And there will be a Game 7 tomorrow night in New York.
I'm going to call that move to Patrick Roy from now on because of the way the Logs perfected that with the Colorado Avalanche, pulling the goalie early, or is it too early to describe that as a Patrick Roy trend?
He's a legend, so why not?
The Cavalier played it on. Advanced by Hall. Pushed back in again and charging after it Ronaldo with John Moore. Dorsett brings it on. Chased down by Hall. Dorsett there. Trying to stay out of the way was Dean Morton. It comes right past him again. He's not been successful on that tonight. This is cleared back down and they rule an icing.
That's happened to both referees a couple of times here. Now they have to worry about somebody on the other side looking to run you into the third or fourth row, but also got to worry about stick handling around one of the officials. No out of bounds in our game, and that's why it's the best.
Giroux unassisted at 15:49. His second of the playoffs and the Flyers' fifth of the night. You now see a lot of red seats. Previously they were orange, but the orange have moved out to the Schuylkill and to other expressways near this place. Cranked right back in for the backhand grab by Mason, shuffles it aside. Drilled back along by Coburn, kept alive by Strawman as we got down to the last 3 1/4 of the tilt. Sky hook back out again by LeCavalier. Drops dead near Stahl. Guided on for Strawman. Hoisted back in by Braden Shen and grabbed there and paddled back on by Talbot. Advanced on by Zuccarello. That one's shaken down and can be played further. Back out again and up the wing for Hartnell. Tucked it on for Braden Shen. Shen with a toe drag and a shot blocked by Moore. Simmons with a bear hug there around the neck of Richards. And back out it comes for the carry-on by John Moore. Moore dropped it back and can be played by Hagelin. Bouncer in front, carefully stopped by Luke Shen. And played back along for the drag back out again by Simmons. Threw it back in. 2 1/4. Simmons with 3, Gustafson 1, Giroux 1. Giroux also with 2 assists. And out of play. And so they allow themselves soon to think about tomorrow night. Those who aren't playing much in the game in the remaining shifts for Craig Berube are probably already thinking ahead to that. It will be a different crowd, different atmosphere, same game, and the scoreboard will read 0-0. You can only lose one game at a time, regardless of how decisive it is. And it sure didn't look decisive in the first period. The Rangers outplayed the Flyers, but Steve Mason was marvelous. Flyers were just loaded with giveaways in the first period too, 9-2. But Mason canceled all of that out, and we're going to have a scrap here.
That's all Brian Boyle.
Couple of big boys there.
Carryover from the last shift. They were on the ice together right in front of me. They were jousting and talking, and they go back on the ice together and get after one another.
In Game 6 of the series, it is the first set of coincidental majors.
Right in front of Michel Cormier. Then they get together again. They know it. This happened the shift before. Paul's measuring up. That's little Michigan State Boston College action, and they go.
This is game 45 of this year's playoffs, and the 7th fight that has taken place in the 45 games. In 1987, at the same point in the playoffs, we had 50, 5-0. Different, for sure. Offensive zone face-off for the Rangers here. The players are even up on the ice for the last 97. J.T. Miller sees LeCavalier chased out, and Simmons coming in for this draw. Ronaldo able to step away and play it behind for Gustafson. He sprints after it. Arrives there at the same time as Pouliot. Ronaldo trying to run Pouliot into the third row. Meanwhile, around behind, turning with it is Miller. Shoved at a bit by Luke Shen. Miller delays. His pass was in the path of LeCavalier, who pivots, doubles back, and then flies one across. Off of LeCavalier and carried back ahead by Zuccarello. And then across for a nice beat by Pouliot. Oh, and the return pass shanked, and then another try by Zuccarello, and he has scored. And the celebration of the goal continues. So it is 5-2 with 56.5 to go, and Wayne Simmons is one of the guys being waltzed around by the linesman, in this case Steve Miller. Guys will be sent to the dressing room early because only 56.5 to go. There will not be much of a cool-off time here because they'll play Game 7 tomorrow night.
Zuccarello's been a ball of fire all playoff long and all season long. Takes a hit to make a play right there. Shanked by Pouliot. Great give and go. And then right out front to Zuccarello, who didn't quit on the play, goes hard to the net. And Pouliot just makes a brilliant pass right out to Zuccarello, who beats Mason.
Yeah, Mason down as that puck was in behind the net. And the hustle play by Zuccarello. Pierre made mention he took the hit to make the play with Scotty Hartnell that took a run at him. And he found himself to the front of the net. The second goal of the game for the Rangers.
10-minute misconduct. Simmons. 10-minute. What's his number?
We're hearing some misconduct penalties that have been assessed here. Game 7 is the chant here in Philadelphia. And also a chant involving Mason, who raised his stick to the crowd, and more towels are being waved. They have seen some impressive goalkeepers over their 47-year history. Bernard Marcel Perron, who is in the Hockey Hall of Fame, authored both of the Stanley Cup championships of 74 against Boston and 75 against Buffalo. So Hartnell gave it up. Hagelin fed one in front. Combination there, and it rattled around before Schenn could start it back out and floated in. Hartnell is after this with John Moore. Hartnell rolled off the gentle collision and tried to play it further. Got help from Schenn to play it on back. Hurried along by Luke Schenn, and it bounced off the boards and is corralled by Hartnell. Away from Klein. They try for Braden Schenn, and they get it to him. Turned around for a shot by Raffo. They've got the glass. And Klein to play in the last dozen. Now, boys, you're going to hear a horn. Looks like from the signal of referee Dean Morton that there will be some penalties called at the 20-minute mark of the third. But all academic. Flyers 5, Rangers 2, and there will be a Game 7. And there's the guy they can thank the most. Steve Mason, the goalkeeper. Tomorrow night there are 3 Game 7s. Philadelphia and the Rangers NBCSN coverage begins at 6:30 with NHL Live. Minnesota, Colorado, 9:30 p.m. on CNBC. 10 o'clock on NBCSN, it's the Kings and the Sharks. Thursday, Game 1, Montreal and Boston starting off the second round on NBCSN. Coverage begins at 6:30 with NHL Live. Download the app or watch live online at NBCSports.com/liveextra. Final 5-2 Philadelphia. After the break, we'll check in with Liam, Mike, and JR. Thanks for watching here in Philly.